how do you find an agent, someone to book speaking gigs for you, like high paying gigs? And this is exactly what we do. So we book speakers, and I'm going to tell you how to find someone like us to book the gigs for you. Now, at first, a while ago, if you've been following me for a while, I would have said it's not possible. I mean, you simply can't find guys who are willing to do it. And the reason I said that is because when a lot of speakers say that they want to find someone to book gigs for them, what they really want is someone to basically do it for free. And then they give them like a 10%, 15% commission. And it's kind of like, that's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. Someone who's good at it, they simply will not do it for that cheap. It's just not possible. And the problem that a lot of speakers have is you don't know how to book the gigs, so you want someone to book the gigs for you. And that's a big problem. That's like someone saying, you know what, I want to start a business. I don't know how to build a business. I don't know what to do. So I just want someone to build my business for me, and I'm going to give them a 10%, 15% commission of the business. It's kind of like, no, it's simply not going to happen. Someone who can build a business, they're not going to do it for 10%, 15%. They're not even going to do it for 90% because it's like, why would I need you? Like, what's the purpose of you? So there's a big problem with that. And I think all speakers kind of go through this phase. I remember like in high school and like college, I was like looking for somebody to book the gigs for me. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'll give them 15%. Hell, I'll give you 20% if you can book the gigs for me. And I did this, and I posted something on like Craigslist. The guy answered, and then it seemed like everything was going to go just fine. He's like, oh yeah, I can book the gigs for you. Okay, cool. So we start talking, and then all of a sudden it didn't really work out. I mean, it seemed like he was going to do it, but then all of a sudden it didn't really work. He didn't actually do it. And that was really my fault because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I mean, he said he knew what he was doing and everything, but it was one of those where it's like, why? Like, why would he like spend all that time doing it for free, basically? So essentially, you need to think, would you work for you? And this is a question that you really, really have to be brutally honest, is would you work for you? When you have people like me, where our company is basically booking the gigs for speakers, we are looking at guys who are charging like $25,000 and up. And you have to ask yourself, would you work for you? So you're simply not ready. Most speakers aren't ready for us to actually book them on stages. They're beginning, their website isn't that great, they don't have videos, they don't have social proof, none of that stuff. When we book speakers, we only work with the speakers that are really easy to book. Is basically, do they have the website? Do they have the videos? Do they have the social proof? We're going to easily work for someone like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone. We're looking at these type of guys, like people who already have all that stuff ready to go. That way it's easier for us to book them on a stage. We're not going to sit there and set it all up for you and figure all this stuff out. Because if we contact someone, let's say it's Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, whatever, all we have to do is send a few emails, and then boom, somebody's going to be interested. They're going to be like, okay, cool. Person's website is great. Now, obviously, someone like Gary Vee, I mean, he has the name recognition, but I mean, in terms of, you'll see like the website looks great and everything. We need people like that. Those are the people that we go after because they're easier to sell. This is similar to like affiliate marketers. When, in fact, a friend of mine, he's an affiliate marketer, and one of the first things that he asked is, basically, what's the offer? So before he promotes someone's stuff, he's like, well, what's their offer? He needs to see the offer. So, and he does that because he needs to make sure, is it an easy sell? And you have to ask yourself, are you an easy sell? If you're not an easy sell, you're simply not going to get an agent to book gigs for you. If you're not there yet, you need to figure out how to get there. You need to figure out how to get the website, the videos, the social proof. You need to figure that out. And then you need to ask yourself, do you already have a systematic process in place? If you don't have a systematic process in place, then it's simply not going to work. I mean, do you even know how to get gigs? If you don't know how to book the gigs for yourself, you simply will not find someone who's going to be able to do it for you. And even if you hire someone to do it, then you need to hire them. You need to train them on how to actually do it. So you need to be keeping track of metrics like the leads, the leads that you're building up, the list of events. You need to keep track of like the emails that you're sending, open rates, all that sort of stuff. So if you don't actually have like any systematic process, then it's just going to be hard for you to get on a stage in general. So how do you really find someone who's going to work for you? Number one, you got to pay them. That's hands down, you're going to pay them. You simply will not find people. You won't find anyone who's good, who's going to work for a 10%, 15%, even 20% commission. Hell, even 25%. It's simply not going to happen because The reason it's not going to happen is because when you have guys like us who are doing it, we don't have to work for commission. We get paid every month and we take a commission because that's just how we work. I mean, that's just the business model. So essentially, the way you're going to find someone, one, you have to pay them. Two, you need to have a working process, meaning you need to know how to actually find the leads. You need to know how to find the events. You need to know how to contact the events, what to say, and all that. You need to have a working process. You need to ask yourself, can you get yourself booked? If you can't get yourself booked, then it's going to be hard for anyone to get you booked. So you have to really ask this, and then you have to train them. So when you train them, you need to think, do you have a clear path? Do they have a clear path? Do they know what to do? So when they wake up, what exactly are they going to do? If you don't know the answer to that, they don't know the answer to that. And this is what happened in high school when I was like, when I went on Craigslist and I tried to get the guy to book the gigs for me and everything. I didn't have a clear path for him. It was just, well, just find the gigs. Just book the gigs for me and then I'll give you a commission. Like that's how most people operate. Most speakers operate. So the way it's going to work is you have to pay them. You need to have a working process in place. You need to really ask yourself, like, can you actually book yourself? Because you're going to need to train them. When you train them, you simply have to think, do they have a clear path to actually getting you booked? Do you know exactly what to do? Do they know exactly what to do? And then you need to have like metric accountability. So it's one of those where you need to find X number of events every day, and then you need to contact X number of events every day. You need to use this software, and in this software, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. So you need to have like a metric accountability. You need to know like the number of leads per day, all that sort of stuff, and really just ask yourself, would you work for you? This is essentially the main question you have to ask. The main thing that you need to understand when it comes to finding an agent who's going to book gigs for you is, would you work for you? If you were to look at your website, would you actually book this speaker? And if the answer is no, you got to be 100% honest with yourself. If the answer is no, then someone like me, we're not going to work with you either. You're not going to find a speaker bureau, a speaker agent. None of these guys are going to book gigs for you unless you have it together. If you don't have your stuff together, it's simply not going to work.